Long before marble columns pierced the sky and legions marched across continents, a small settlement along the banks of the Tiber River quietly breathed its first breath. Rome was not built in a day. That phrase exists for a reason. What began as a collection of pastoral villages on 7 hills around 753 before the Common Era would evolve into the most powerful civilization the ancient world had ever witnessed. The early Romans were fierce, disciplined, and deeply ambitious. They borrowed from the Greeks, adapted from the Etruscans, and forged something entirely their own, a republic built on law, military strength, and an unrelenting hunger for expansion. The Senate debated, the legions marched, and Rome grew. At the heart of Roman culture lived a spectacle unlike anything the world had seen: the gladiatorial games. The Colosseum, completed in 80 Common Era, could hold over 50,000 roaring spectators. Inside its elliptical walls, men fought not just for survival, but for glory, freedom, and the thunderous approval of the crowd. Gladiators were warriors of extraordinary discipline, trained in specialized schools called ludi, armed with weapons ranging from the trident and net of the retiarius to the heavy shield and short sword of the secutor. These were not merely brutal entertainments. They were political tools, used by emperors to maintain public loyalty and demonstrate absolute power. The arena was Rome's heartbeat, raw, violent, and magnificent. Rome's ambition was never contained within Italy's borders. Under leaders like Julius Caesar, Augustus, and Trajan, the empire stretched from the deserts of North Africa to the misty highlands of Britain, from the Iberian Peninsula to the banks of the Euphrates River in modern-day Iraq. Roman roads, over 400,000 kilometers of engineered stone, connected this vast empire, allowing armies to move swiftly and trade to flourish. Aqueducts carried fresh water across impossible distances. Forums, temples, and amphitheaters rose in every conquered city, stamping Roman identity onto foreign soil. Architecture became the language of dominance. The Pantheon, the Forum of Trajan, the Arch of Constantine, these were not just buildings, they were declarations of eternal power carved in stone. But empires, like all living things, carry within them the seeds of their own decline. By the 3rd century Common Era, Rome was fracturing under the weight of its own enormity. Political instability, economic strain, military overextension, and waves of invasions from Germanic tribes began eroding the foundations. In 476 Common Era, the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer, a moment historians mark as the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Eternal City did not collapse in a single dramatic moment. It unraveled slowly, like a great tapestry pulled thread by thread. Darkness did not follow immediately, but transformation did. Deep, irreversible, and ultimately generative. From the ashes of medieval stagnation, Italy ignited the world's imagination once again. Beginning in the 14th century in the wealthy city-states of Florence, Venice, and Milan, the Renaissance, meaning rebirth in French, exploded across Europe like intellectual wildfire. Artists, scientists, architects, and philosophers rediscovered the classical wisdom of ancient Greece and Rome, fusing it with bold new thinking. Leonardo da Vinci sketched flying machines and mapped the human body with surgical precision. Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel ceiling, a work of such breathtaking beauty it silenced centuries of doubt about what human hands could achieve. Galileo Galilei challenged the very structure of the known universe. Italy was not merely participating in human progress. It was leading it, defining it, and exporting it to every corner of the civilized world. Centuries later, a fragmented peninsula of competing kingdoms, papal states, and foreign-controlled territories yearned for unity. Through the passionate vision of Giuseppe Garibaldi, the political genius of Count Camillo di Cavour, and the symbolic leadership of King Victor Emmanuel II, Italy was unified in 1861. A nation was born, not from conquest alone, but from culture, language, and a shared memory stretching back millennia. Modern Italy carries all of this within it. Every cobblestone street, every Renaissance fresco, every ancient ruin whispers the same truth, that this land has always been and will always remain the cradle of Western civilization.